pundit, if you want to call him that, has said Kamala Harris is using blackface. Here it is.
I'm going to say this as a black African-American man. Kamala Harris, she's a person of color. Kamala Harris, if she gets elected as president, it's going to be great to have a person of color in the White House. But this is the thing. She is now race baiting. She is now doing blackface. She is not black. She is a Jamaican American. She is an Indian American. What she is doing is when she ran for the United States Senate, she sat there and said, I was an Indian American. Now she's black all of a sudden. If you ask a lot of African American people, I'm sorry, what they're gonna say is Jamaicans, they are Caribbean American. The reason why this is very, very important is because there are actually health issues associated with being African American. African American and blacks, you're more susceptible to diabetes, high blood pressure. But you have this woman who is sitting here saying that she is black just to get elected. And you know what I'm very upset of? Let's just look at the little black girl who dreams of being president of the United States for a few years. Kamala Harris is taking that title away just so she can sit here and try to win like a voting block. It's very terrible.
Oh, you gave me goosebumps.
Oh, man, you talk so good. You get a racist biggest goosebumps over at Newsmax. Man, you got like a superpower. Man, please. Sir, you letting these folks gas you up to talk against another black woman because they give you a check to come and provide commentary, perhaps? Let me do this for you. Let me help you understand something. I was a foster kid. One of the families that adopted me was a Jamaican family. I bet you won't tell mommy she ain't black. Guarantee you that. Where do you all get this line from? That Jamaican is not black. When did that happen? There's definitely black people that are Jamaican. Let's go to it. I'll put him up full mask. I mean, man, who are you, brother? Where did they find you at? With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Will Pierce, during a Sunday panel on Newsmax, he falsely claimed that Harris changes her race depending on her campaign strategy. Republican pundit and former Democrat Will Pierce insisted that Vice President Kamala Harris was, quote, not black, and instead accused her of doing blackface. At the end of his rant, the host, her name is Lidia, she said, oh, you give me goosebumps. I mean, you may get a date out of this, brother, the way you over there talking. Let me do it like this, man. First of all, it's untrue, obviously. And everyone in the black community was surprised that she had the Indian heritage, because we didn't know that. We always knew her to be black. She went to an HBCU, she's an AKA, et cetera, et cetera. So this narrative that she never told people she was black is completely a lie, 100%. The narrative has been continued, however, by conservatives to question her racial identity. It's amazing to me that the people who continue to say, we got to stop talking about race, talk about race every damn day as it relates to VP Kamala Harris running for president. Here it is.
I think early in her career, she identified as South Asian. That might have been effective in California. Now she is considered an African-American woman. You don't hear about that. She's not African-American technically because she has a Jamaican dad.
You can see the headlines. She bragged about being the first Indian-American US Senator, and then she brags about being a Black American US Senator. She cannot be both.
Y'all remember Milli Vanilli? You know, it was two guys. They were, claimed to be R&B German artists, even though they had British accents and they were born in Madrid or something like that. But sound a little bit like Kamala.
Kamala Harris is an extremist. She's a radical. She's a racialist. And I would argue in many respects she's an anti-Semite, but she's married to a Jew. I could care less. Well, she might appoint a Jew as their running mate. I could care less. I could care less. I'm not into identity politics. I'm into facts and substance. That's what I'm into.
A few moments later.
Donald Trump, throughout his life, has not demonstrated 1 ounce of racism.
I'm not done. Omarosa was on a panel, CNN panel, pointed this out.
But I recall in his book, The Art of the Deal, Laura, when Donald Trump identified himself as Swedish. right? Because he didn't want to acknowledge that his father was German and his mother was Irish, and he thought that that would play better to those who were patronizing his businesses. So can we call the question his past of self-identifying as first Swedish, then German, and then Irish whenever it's convenient? Donald doesn't know the difference between ancestry and race. He doesn't want to know the differences, nor does he understand the nuances of how people self-identify. And so I believe that that's disqualifying for him. And when he mispronounces her name, Laura, he does it as a slur. He does it intentionally to harm her, to make people see the otherness of Kamala Harris. And so I posed the question to Bruce when he says, oh, at some point she identified as this, and at some point she identified as this. Are you going to hold Donald Trump to the fire for identifying himself as Swedish, even though he has no Swedish roots, in his best-selling book, The Art of the Deal, Bruce?
Bruce, you're welcome to respond. I do have a copy of the book. I'm going to try to find the passage.
I don't know about that, but this is all I know.
Or is there a double standard?
I don't know about facts. I'm here to talk against Kamala Harris being black. That's it. That's what they told me to do. I can't do anything else. It doesn't compute whatever you're talking about. This is how talking points work. There's no coincidence that people on Fox News are saying it. Newsmax, the Trump campaign, conservative bloggers, conservative podcasts. That there's no coincidence here. This is called messaging routine. It's real simple. The bottom line is she actually has been very clear about her ancestry and her parents. Clear. No issue there. As I've said before, when a person says I'm half Italian, half Irish, that has never been an issue ever. Until now, a person says, well, I'm this and that. Well, black folk are this and that. That's how it works, all right? You all came up with the one drop of other blood other than white makes you something else. We didn't come up with that. You all did. And now all of a sudden you want to take it back? All right, dear brother, I'm talking about, man, I'm really loving this. And let me tell you why I'm loving it. Because that message only resonates with the base of Trump and MAGA. It does not move the middle. It definitely won't move the left. It doesn't make policy sense. And nobody really cares outside of racist people who are trying to use it as a wedge.
And that's the politics that I was just gonna mention. I mean, there's two issues that I see in this. First of all, just the utter stupidity of these people to think that, oh, there's gotta be some sort of distinction and that, Newsmax get to decide what race she identifies or has always identified as. I mean, that's just totally stupid. But the second part about it is politically, I'm kind of glad that these morons keep putting this out there, because every day that Donald Trump and the MAGA world continue to try to obsess over Kamala Harris's race and question it is another day that they're not making a case about any policies. And to your point, yes, this may rev up the right-wing conservative base. Maybe some of the white nationalists out there get excited when they hear Donald Trump talk about this, but the rest of the country gets turned off. And this is the sort of thing that does not help Republicans with moderate and independent voters who will determine this election. And every day that the Republicans are wasting the time of moderate and independent voters increases the likelihood those voters go to Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States. And then all the fun we're really gonna have with some of these freaks when they flip out at her election.
And one other thing it has done, according to the polling data, this racism has excited individuals for VP Harris. Ironic.